When made right, user dashboards are a great tool to maximize routine app usage. The best dashboards don't just display information, they encourage users to constantly use the product. Understanding your user psychology might be exactly what you're missing. In this video, I'm going to share some few tips used by successful platforms that could help you when you're designing your next dashboard. But before even going into the design process, you must consider your user's goals, which is something we will get into in a different video. But in a nutshell, your product isn't the end-all be-all for your customer. It's just a means to an end. Ask yourself what your users are trying to accomplish by using your product. Is it eating healthy? Is it task management? Is it staying more mindful? To achieve one's goals, individuals hold two different motivation sources, both extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic motivations, such as earning a reward or avoiding punishment, comes from the outside of the user's mind. On the other hand, intrinsic motivations is the drive to engage in activities that are inherently interesting, enjoyable, or fulfilling. A student who studies hard to receive good grades or avoid getting into trouble with their parents are extrinsically motivated. A student who is fascinated by the learning material is intrinsically motivated. Both forms of motivations can be powerful, so an effective dashboard will leverage both. Too Good To Go is an app that helps users to buy surplus food from local restaurants, cafes, or stores to reduce food waste. In their user dashboard, they are counting the amount of money saved while using their service, which is a clear extrinsic motivation. However, right next to it, they're also counting the amount of CO2 emissions saved while using their app, tapping into the user's intrinsic motivation of feeling environmentally conscious. According to the framing effect, detailed in this video right here, the way information is presented to us has a great influence on our final decisions, which means that the way we say things could be more significant than what we say. The mindfulness app Calm understood this concept and decided to frame time spent on the app as mindful hours the users are experiencing. This minor tweak in the dashboard widget title is very effective because it aligns with the user's primary objective, which is being more mindful, not just spending more time on the Calm app. As a product manager, you want to make sure that your users understand that if they use your product more, if they engage with more features, they will achieve their goals, because this is the only way to make them more engaged. This type of framing, also known as the jobs to be done framing, is highly effective and I recommend you using it. Grammarly, the autocorrect product, maximizes users' motivation on its weekly dashboard report that rates users' writing skills. According to the social comparison theory introduced by Leon Festinger in 1954, our need for positive self-evaluation and reassurance could lead us to rejoice when we see that we are better than others.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
By perceiving we are better than others, we affirm our self-worth, which could lead to a temporary increase in happiness. Instead of giving raw score, Grammarly provides users with their percentile in each one of the skills. This framing empowers users by stating that even though they haven't received the best score yet, they're still better than those guys. By focusing on the positives instead of the negatives and aligning with user self-perceptions, Grammarly encourages users to continue learning. It is a common mistake among companies to design for the ideal scenario and inconsiderate design for different edge cases, especially when creating user dashboards, could lead to the opposite desired effect. The dashboard could show long-term users a plethora of useful data, while for first-time users it is full of zeros and empty states. This creates a demotivating experience for newbies who are so precious. So how could we avoid this horrific outcome? One way is to provide them with a quantified quick win right at the beginning. The simplest way is to reward users for completing the onboarding process with a badge stating you did it, that will be, of course, highlighted in the dashboard. Another option is to have users achieve something as part of the onboarding process. Duolingo, the learning language platform, requires users to complete a lesson as part of the onboarding process and grant them their first day of the streak once completed, which means that once they are entering the dashboard area, they could see an achievement they could already draw motivation from. Substack, the newsletter platform, took a different approach. They automatically subscribe to all new users. This is to encourage new content creators who literally just opened their publication so they have no one subscribed to it. Even with one subscriber in hand, users will feel more motivated to start their journey. This is a great time to tell you that I've launched my own newsletter called Talking BS via Substack, which you could subscribe to in the link below. But it is important to remember that new users aren't the only edge case out there. User flow diagrams are a helpful tool to identify different edge cases throughout a specific flow. It maps out the steps from the user's perspective, illustrating how they interact with different components in the platform and how they navigate throughout the app. For a step-by-step walkthrough to create a user flow diagram that doesn't leave any user behind, go ahead and watch this video next.